What if the world you perceive, the objects you hold, the faces you cherish, and even the ground beneath your feet weren't entirely real? What if everything you've ever known was nothing more than a shadow, cast by something far greater, far deeper, and far beyond comprehension? This isn't a question meant to unsettle you. It's an invitation to wonder, to peel back the thin veil of what we call reality and step into the unknown. A place where the rules of physics and the boundaries of the mind blur together. A realm where the universe isn't what it seems, and where you might play a much larger role than you've ever imagined. In the coming moments, you will encounter ideas that may feel thrilling or even unsettling, but they promise to transform the way you view the world. Prepare to explore a concept so extraordinary that it challenges the very foundation of existence. The possibility that reality itself is a projection, a cosmic illusion. This story isn't just about theories or abstract ideas. It's about one man, a man who dared to unravel the mysteries of the cosmos and uncovered truths that bridged science and spirituality in ways no one thought possible. And in doing so, he not only changed the way we understand existence, but left us with questions that still echo through time. Are you ready to question everything you thought you knew? To consider that the world is far more mysterious, connected, and malleable than we've been led to believe? Let's begin. Michael Talbot was not an ordinary man, nor did he live an ordinary life. From the very beginning, his journey seemed destined to break the mold. Born into a small, unassuming town, Michael's childhood was filled with questions. Questions that others dismissed as unimportant or unanswerable. But for Michael, they were everything. Why do we dream? What lies beyond what our senses can perceive? And most importantly, what is reality? While other children were content to lose themselves in toys or games, Michael found solace in books and ideas, philosophy, science fiction, metaphysics. He devoured them all, searching for threads of truth that he could weave into his growing sense of wonder. It wasn't long before the world began to reveal its strangeness to him. Strange occurrences would light up the otherwise mundane backdrop of his early life. Flickering lights in empty rooms, a sense of being watched when no one was around, objects that seemed to move ever so slightly on their own. These weren't fleeting moments for Michael. They were the sparks that ignited his lifelong quest for understanding. But it wasn't just the unexplained that drew his attention. Even in his youth, Michael possessed an uncanny ability to connect dots that others couldn't see. He would question the lessons taught in school, probing deeper into topics that most people accepted without a second thought. Teachers called him curious, his peers eccentric, but Michael wore these labels as badges of honor, knowing that the road to understanding often led through isolation. By the time he reached adulthood, Michael had cultivated a mind that was equal parts daring and disciplined. He refused to see boundaries between the physical and the spiritual, between science and the supernatural. To him, these were not opposites but two sides of the same coin, waiting to be flipped and revealed. It was this relentless curiosity, this refusal to accept the surface as the full story, that set Michael Talbot on the path that would define his life. A path toward uncovering the true nature of existence, even if it meant facing mysteries that most would rather leave untouched. Michael Talbot's life was shaped by events that defied explanation. Moments that seemed plucked from the pages of a science fiction novel or a ghost story whispered in the dark. But these weren't tales spun from fantasy. They were his reality. In his early years, he began to witness phenomena that left even the most skeptical observers baffled. On quiet evenings at home, objects would inexplicably shift across tables, moving as though guided by unseen hands. The air in the room would seem to hum with an energy no one could explain. And then there were the lights, unearthly orbs that hovered outside his window, glowing softly before disappearing into the night. One experience, however, stood above the rest. Michael recounted it many times, though never without a sense of awe. He was lying in bed when he felt a presence, powerful and undeniable. At first, he thought it was a dream, but as he opened his eyes, he saw what he could only describe as an ethereal figure standing at the foot of his bed. It didn't speak, yet its presence filled his mind with thoughts, questions, and insights he couldn't quite grasp. Encounters like these didn't frighten Michael, They intrigued him. Where others might have turned away, he leaned in. He began to keep meticulous notes, journaling every unexplainable event in vivid detail. To Michael, these weren't random occurrences but glimpses into a hidden layer of reality, something just beyond the reach of ordinary perception. But the most astonishing revelation came during an experience of telekinesis. Alone in his room, deep in thought, he felt a surge of concentration so intense it was as if the room itself responded to him. A pen on his desk trembled, wobbled, and then fell to the floor without him touching it. This wasn't a coincidence, he realized. It was evidence, a crack in the facade of the physical world, revealing a truth he'd long suspected. The mind and the universe were far more connected than anyone dared to believe. These experiences weren't isolated incidents, they were catalysts. They pushed Michael beyond the boundaries of conventional thinking and launched him on a quest to answer the ultimate question. What lies beneath the surface of our reality? He didn't know it yet, but these moments of wonder and strangeness were the first steps toward a discovery that would change everything. Michael Talbot's experiences left him with questions that no simple explanation could satisfy. The strange events he had witnessed were not just anomalies. They were clues, fragments of a greater truth hidden beneath the surface of the world. Determined to make sense of it all, Michael embarked on a journey that would blur the lines between science, philosophy, and the spiritual. His first steps led him to the works of great thinkers, both ancient and modern. He pored over quantum physics, mesmerized by the idea that reality, at its smallest scales, didn't behave as expected. Particles seemed to exist in multiple states at once, only deciding on a single form when observed, a concept that resonated deeply with his own experiences. To Michael, this wasn't just a scientific oddity. It was a window into the fluid nature of existence itself. At the same time, he explored ancient philosophies and mystical traditions. The Hindu concept of Maya, which describes reality as an illusion, struck a chord with him. The writings of mystics and sages from across cultures spoke of a deeper, interconnected oneness, a truth that science seemed to be circling closer to with every breakthrough. But Michael didn't stop at reading. He sought out thinkers who, like him, were searching for connections between the physical and the metaphysical. He studied the works of David Bohm, a physicist who proposed that the universe might be a hologram, a projection of a deeper, unseen reality. He also delved into the ideas of Carl Pribram, a neuroscientist who suggested that the brain processes information holographically, much like a projector bringing an image to life. It was here, at the intersection of cutting-edge science and age-old wisdom, that Michael began to form a radical idea, that everything we perceive as real might be a projection of something infinitely more profound. Every particle, every star, every thought, they were all interconnected, part of a vast and mysterious whole. Michael's journey wasn't just about gathering knowledge. It was about synthesis, weaving together strands of thought from disciplines that rarely spoke to one another. He wasn't content to simply understand the world. He wanted to bridge the gaps between what we know and what we feel, between the tangible and the transcendent. And so, his journey gained momentum. The questions grew deeper, the connections clearer. The universe was speaking in patterns, and Michael was determined to decode its message. Little did he know, his discoveries would not only redefine his life but challenge the very foundations of reality as we know it. Michael Talbot's journey of inquiry led him to a discovery so profound that it threatened to rewrite the way we understand the universe itself. Drawing from the groundbreaking ideas of scientists like David Bohm and Carl Pribram, Michael articulated a theory that bridged science and spirituality in a way that few had ever dared to do. He called it the holographic universe. The theory was as audacious as it was elegant. It proposed that reality, everything we see, feel, and experience, is not the fundamental layer of existence but a projection, much like a hologram. In a hologram, every fragment contains the image of the whole. Break a holographic plate into pieces, and each shard still holds the complete picture. Michael believed this wasn't just a quirk of physics but a metaphor for how the universe itself operates. At its core, the holographic universe suggested that all of reality is interconnected. Every particle, every thought, every event is tied to a vast, underlying field of energy and information. This means that the divisions we see between matter and energy, between time and space, between you and me, are illusions. They're part of the projection, a shadow of something infinitely more complex. Michael connected these ideas to phenomena that defied conventional understanding. How could two particles, separated by unimaginable distances, affect each other instantaneously, as seen in quantum entanglement? The holographic model provided an answer. At a deeper level, those particles were never truly separate. They were part of the same unified system, existing as different aspects of the same whole. But the implications went far beyond physics. If the universe was a hologram, then the mind itself was a part of this vast projection. Human consciousness wasn't a mere byproduct of the brain. It was a fundamental part of the holographic fabric, capable of interacting with and shaping reality. Talbot's revelation challenged everything. It bridged gaps between ancient spiritual teachings and cutting-edge science. Philosophies that spoke of interconnectedness and oneness suddenly aligned with quantum mechanics and neuroscience. The concept wasn't just theoretical. It explained the mysteries that had haunted humanity for centuries. Telepathy, precognition, the power of belief. This was the moment when Michael Talbot's work transcended the boundaries of academia and became something much greater. It wasn't just a theory, it was a key, a way of understanding the universe that empowered individuals to see their connection to the cosmos. And for those who dared to embrace it, the holographic universe promised nothing less than a revolution in how we perceive existence itself. This revelation was the culmination of Michael's life's work. But it was also just the beginning. As he shared these ideas with the world, the question loomed, how far could humanity go if it embraced this vision of reality? The holographic universe theory was not just a groundbreaking concept. It was a revelation with staggering implications for how we understand reality, consciousness, and even ourselves. If everything is interconnected, if reality itself is a projection, then the way we live, think, and perceive must also be re-examined. Take telepathy, for instance. In the traditional view, it's dismissed as pseudoscience, an impossibility according to the laws of physics. But within a holographic universe, where all points are connected through a deeper field of energy, telepathy becomes less extraordinary and more inevitable. It's not a transmission from one mind to another. It's tapping into a shared space where thoughts already exist as part of the whole. The same applies to dreams and premonitions. How can a person dream of an event before it happens? How can someone sense danger before it arrives? Michael Talbot's theory suggested that our consciousness is not confined to the present moment. Instead, it interacts with the hologram of reality, where time is not linear but layered, a multidimensional structure where the past, present, and future coexist. This model also offered an explanation for something far more personal: the power of belief. Stories about miraculous healings, where diseases vanish seemingly overnight, or the devastating effects of negative expectations, are often dismissed as anecdotal. But the holographic universe showed that belief isn't just a mental state. It's a force. When we focus our consciousness, we're shaping the hologram itself. Michael Talbot explored a stunning example of this with the placebo effect. Patients who believed they were receiving life-saving treatment experienced profound recoveries, even when given nothing but sugar pills. Their minds, interacting with the holographic reality, rewrote the rules of their physical bodies. And the opposite was true as well. Negative beliefs could manifest illness, as seen in the nocebo effect. On a grander scale, the theory also reframed the nature of free will and destiny. If everything is interconnected, then each choice ripples through the hologram, influencing outcomes far beyond what we can see. This idea was empowering. It suggested that we are not passive observers but active participants in shaping reality. But perhaps the most profound implication was this: the universe was not a cold, mechanical place. It was alive, dynamic, and deeply connected to consciousness. The boundaries between the physical and the spiritual dissolved, leaving only a vast, unified field of infinite possibilities. For Michael Talbot, this understanding was not just a scientific breakthrough. It was a call to action. It invited humanity to step into a new paradigm, one where we could embrace our role as creators within the hologram. The question was no longer if the universe was interconnected, but how deeply we were willing to explore the connections, and what we could achieve when we did. If reality is a hologram shaped and connected by consciousness, then the mind is more than a tool for perceiving the world. It's a force capable of reshaping it. Michael Talbot believed this to be one of the most profound truths of his theory. The power of the mind is not limited to thoughts and emotions. It extends into the fabric of existence itself. Consider the placebo effect. A patient believes a pill will heal them, and their body responds as if the pill were real medicine. This is not just a psychological trick. It's a demonstration of the mind's ability to influence physical reality. In Talbot's view, this wasn't an exception to the rules. It was evidence of how reality works at its deepest levels. But the mind's power isn't confined to healing. It shapes everything we experience. Talbot proposed that our beliefs, intentions, and focus act as tools that interact with the holographic field of the universe. The world we see and live in is not a fixed, unchangeable structure. It's a canvas, constantly rewritten by the energy of our thoughts. Stories of miraculous events often hold more truth than skeptics are willing to admit. A person surviving against impossible odds, a community coming together to create change, or an artist achieving greatness through sheer determination. All of these are examples of how the mind can bend reality. Talbot argued that these weren't coincidences or luck, but proof that the universe responds to the energy we project into it. This idea of a malleable reality opens the door to endless possibilities. If our thoughts and emotions create ripples in the holographic field, then what could we achieve by deliberately harnessing this power? Talbot suggested that visualization, meditation, and focused intention are not just personal practices. They are tools for co-creating reality. Even seemingly supernatural phenomena, like telekinesis or influencing events through willpower, fit within this framework. In a holographic universe, where the boundaries between mind and matter dissolve, such abilities become less fantastical and more like untapped human potential. But this power comes with responsibility. If our minds shape reality, then the world we live in is a reflection of our collective consciousness. Negative thoughts, fear, and division ripple outward just as much as hope, love, and unity. Talbot believed this was why understanding the holographic nature of reality was so crucial. It wasn't just about what the mind could do, but what it should do. In the end, the power of the mind is both a gift and a challenge. It asks us to look beyond what we've been told, to question the limits we've placed on ourselves, and to take an active role in shaping the universe we want to live in. For Michael Talbot, this wasn't just a theory, it was a call to action, urging humanity to step into its true potential. Throughout history, altered states of consciousness have been gateways to profound truths, mystical realms, visions, and experiences that defy the constraints of everyday perception. Michael Talbot believed these states held the key to understanding the deeper layers of the holographic universe. They weren't mere aberrations of the mind, but glimpses into a reality that operates beyond the physical. In dreams, for example, the boundaries of time and space dissolve. A single thought transforms into an entire world. Lucid dreaming, when one becomes aware of the dream and begins to shape it consciously, was particularly fascinating to Talbot. He saw it as a metaphor for life itself. Just as a dreamer can mold their dreamscape, so too can consciousness influence the waking hologram of reality. Near-death experiences offered even more compelling evidence. People who had been clinically dead often returned with vivid accounts of encounters with a timeless, infinite presence. They described a space where thoughts manifested instantly, where understanding was instantaneous, and where the limitations of the physical body were left behind. For Talbot, these experiences weren't hallucinations. They were moments where the individual's consciousness accessed the foundational layer of the holographic universe, unrestricted by the filters of the human mind. Meditation, too, played a pivotal role in his exploration. By quieting the noise of the external world, practitioners often reported transcending their sense of self, feeling interconnected with all things. These moments of stillness and clarity, Talbot suggested, were not illusions but direct experiences of the oneness that his theory described. Even substances known for inducing altered states, ayahuasca, psilocybin, and others, had a place in the conversation. Cultures across the globe have used them for centuries to access spiritual insights and heal psychological wounds. While controversial in modern science, Talbot believed they might provide temporary access to dimensions of the holographic field that are otherwise obscured by our everyday consciousness. What unified all these states was a shared sense of connection, a realization that the individual self is not isolated but part of a vast, interconnected whole. They demonstrated that the boundaries we perceive between ourselves and the world are not absolute but malleable, shifting, and ultimately dissolvable. To Talbot, altered states of consciousness were not just fascinating phenomena. They were practical tools, offering humanity the opportunity to step beyond the illusion of separation and touch the infinite. They reminded us that the mind, untethered from its usual constraints, could navigate the vast holographic ocean of existence, revealing truths that lie hidden beneath the surface of the waking world. These states were not just experiences, they were evidence. Evidence that reality is far greater, more dynamic, and more alive than we ever dared to believe. Michael Talbot's work was just beginning to ripple through the world when his life was tragically cut short. After publishing The Holographic Universe, a book that redefined the way many thought about reality, he spoke of a second project, one that would delve even deeper into the practical implications of his ideas. He hinted at revelations that would bridge the gap between theory and everyday life. But that book would never come to be. In 1992, barely a year after his groundbreaking book was published, Michael Talbot died of lymphoma at the age of 38. His passing sent shockwaves through the community that had begun to embrace his work. Was it just a cruel twist of fate, or was there something deeper at play? For those who viewed his life through the lens of his own theories, the timing felt almost poetic. His death a final mystery in a life dedicated to uncovering them. Talbot's early departure left questions hanging in the air. What would he have shared in that unwritten book? How much further would his ideas have evolved? And what secrets might have been lost with him? These uncertainties only deepened the intrigue surrounding his work, turning him into an enigmatic figure whose influence extended beyond his years. But his legacy didn't end with his passing. The holographic universe became a touchstone for thinkers, scientists, and spiritual seekers alike. It bridged the gap between worlds that were often kept apart, science and spirituality, the measurable and the mystical. Michael's voice lived on in his writing, resonating with those who dared to ask the same profound questions he had spent his life exploring. For some, his untimely death became part of the narrative itself. Was his life's work so impactful, so disruptive to the established understanding of reality, that it attracted forces beyond comprehension? Or was it simply a reminder of the fragility of life, a fleeting moment in the vast holographic web he described so vividly? What cannot be denied is the power of his ideas. Michael Talbot left a world forever changed, a world that now had the tools to question its own nature. His death, though heartbreaking, amplified the resonance of his message, that we are more than what we seem, part of a universe where the boundaries between life and death, the seen and unseen, are thinner than we ever believed. His unfinished work became an invitation, a challenge to those who followed to pick up where he left off, to push the boundaries further, and to explore the mysteries he so passionately illuminated. Michael Talbot's legacy is not just a body of work, it's a call to action, a reminder that within the holographic universe, nothing is truly lost, and every life, every mind, is part of the infinite. What if the world we navigate every day is only a fragment of something far greater, a surface layer concealing infinite depths? Michael Talbot believed this to be true, and through his work, he invited us to confront a question as old as humanity itself. What is reality? In the holographic universe, everything is connected. Time, space, matter, and energy are not separate entities. They are threads in a single, boundless tapestry. What we perceive as solid and unchanging is, at its core, fluid and dynamic, shaped by forces that extend beyond the limits of our senses. This idea challenges everything. It asks us to rethink the nature of existence, to consider that what we experience as real is not an ultimate truth but a projection, a reflection of something far more intricate and profound. It suggests that our consciousness is not a passive observer of this projection but an active participant, capable of influencing the very fabric of the universe. And yet, for all its complexity, this revelation is also deeply empowering. If reality is not fixed, if it is malleable and interconnected, then we hold the power to shape it, not just for ourselves but for those around us. Our thoughts, our beliefs, our intentions ripple outward, affecting the hologram in ways we may never fully comprehend. But with this power comes responsibility. Talbot's work reminds us that the world we live in, the reality we perceive, is a reflection of our collective consciousness. If we fill it with fear, division, and doubt, those shadows will grow. But if we choose love, unity, and understanding, the hologram shifts in kind, revealing a world of infinite possibility. So what is reality? Perhaps it's not something we can define in absolute terms. Perhaps it is not a destination or a final answer but a question. A question that invites exploration, curiosity, and wonder. Michael Talbot's life and work were a testament to this journey. He dared to look beyond the surface, to question the unquestionable, and in doing so, he left behind a legacy that continues to inspire. Reality, as Talbot saw it, is not something we passively accept. It is something we co-create every moment of every day. The universe is not separate from us. We are its dreamers, its architects, its essence. And in that truth lies both the mystery and the beauty of existence. So now the question is yours to answer. What is reality to you? What will you make of it?